All right, this next video and our last video we're going to be watching today comes to us from Choy, who is somebody one of the first people we watched in terms of our reacts. Very, very prolific DVD content creator, especially in the YouTube space. Choy takes go back and forth. Some things about Choy I like, and I'm like, well, that's a really good idea. But there's some stuff like, you know, the last video I think we reacted to Choi's, which was like TCM is perfect, and everybody hating them is just, you know, killing a ASIN that doesn't deserve it. Like, kind of just like, I don't know, brown nosing TCM a bit. Like that I didn't agree with. I think that's what makes watching their videos so intriguing, is that like there's some stuff I agree with, sometimes I don't. So I never know which video I'm gonna get, where it's like a box of chocolates, you never know which one you're gonna get. I don't know if it's a video I'll agree with or not, but this one's seemingly covering that cheaters are coming back in 2024, which is now. That is in the now. So it is that year, so let's see what the me has to say about it. But before you do, make sure that you click that link that just showed up above my head. Chat if you're at YouTube, it'll be down in the description below. So like and subscribe. That way you're not a freeloader. So, yeah.
BD, it used to feel like you could not have a single session on the game without encountering some insane over-the-top cheater. But over the last year or so, I felt like things slowed down quite significantly. However, I recently sat down with one of the leads of DBD's most popular cheating software. Figuratively speaking, of course, we didn't like have a tea party or anything, in an effort to find out what's going on behind the scenes and give the DBD community a factual update on the current situation.
Okay, good.
There's some really interesting new information that I learned, as well as some pretty embarrassing stuff for behavior, especially after their recent Q&A. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video or at least found it informative. Now, before we start, in case you were wondering, the background footage was completely provided by the hacking group. However, this specific gameplay here of Hillbilly is from streamers playing Survivor, and the hack being used forces them into a permanent spectator view of the cheating Hillbilly. The Hillbilly player is using double engravings to curve, so that's legit. That said, he was using wall hacks to find survivors, as well as to make the curving easier, and also an aimbot so that it
what's kind of funny, it's like I didn't say anything, but like the moment he hits this curve, it's too crisp. As somebody who made Billy, like the way he kind of just like hard right angles around this, like
of the cheating Hillbilly.
Like he hard right angles around that car. Like even with the car tech, that's like something was off there.
The Hillbilly player is using double engravings to curve, so that's legit. That said, he was using wall hacks to find survivors,
it's interesting that I was able to
make the curving easier, and also an aimbot so that if he didn't curve perfectly, it corrects the pathing of the song
maybe that's what I'm
automatically
saying. The arc,
the survivor. From the survivor's perspective, it just looks like a bit of a laggy hit. All right, so to begin our conversation, I was interested in what happened since Behavior reported that they were banning about 1,400 cheaters a week, with a total of 50,000 banned between January to mid-September of 2022. So I asked if that was truthful or if Behavior was misleading us in some way, because that is a very large amount of bans. His response was that cheating in the game remains prevalent, but Behavior has taken steps in the right direction in general. However, their statistics on bans seem more like a show of good numbers and karma points rather than a comprehensive solution. The reported bans often align with actions that would have led to automatic bans anyway, irrespective of user reports. In other words, if a cheater ruins the game for 7 days, every single match, and then gets banned, they only have to restart their PC, use a spoofer, and hop on to the next free account. What's the outcome? What did Behavior actually gain from this? Good karma. What did players gain from this? Nothing.
So like it's one of those situations where a cheater is like quote unquote removed from the game, but like they just come right back. So it's like, you know, that Simpsons meme where he kicks Barney out and Barney just shows right back up. Like they are attempting to kick them out, but like they're just showing back up.
Basically, Behavior has legitimately done some good updates to their anti-cheat, but the actual number of bans is a bit misleading, because even though they are banned, the cheaters don't really have any downtime and don't get banned very quickly, even when they're cheating egregiously. So Behavior can say, hey, we banned all these cheaters, but the number of cheaters in-game doesn't really fluctuate. Now, if you have been following DBD lately, you may have seen this clip from Otsdarva having a hack used against him to make it look like he was cheating. He had another similar event happen where there was a Meg in his lobby that appeared to be cheating, but it ended up being the Claudette in the lobby who was the actual cheater.
This is annoying.
So this is being done very deliberately. On their website, the cheat is advertised as, "It's time to make other players look like they are cheating." So I asked, what can cheaters do to other legit players now to make them appear as cheating? He says various methods allow cheaters to affect others' gameplay, including remote healing, animation manipulation, and created simulated hostage scenarios. And I actually had this happen to me recently where every time the killer picked me up,
I think it's funny because like usually in a situation like this in like real life, you should be able to like, you know, go tell someone that like, hey, this thing has happened to me. Like you go to them first, but like you can't, if you self-report yourself, you just get banned. Right? Like there's no way to do that where you can be like, hey, somebody's messing with my account. I guess you could open a ticket and see what they would say, but I feel like they would just like look at you and be like, no, you're the cheater and ban you, right? Like, I don't think there's like a real pathway to behavior to be like, there was a cheater in my game and they were making me look weird, you know? Like I said, the best thing I could do would be like, or the best way you think you would do would like open a ticket, but like even then it's like, it's almost risky. Like they could just look at you and be like, no, it was you and ban you.
I was wiggling out insanely fast. The first time I thought it was a bug, but then I quickly realized I had a cheater on my team. Now, in case you are concerned, I did ask if there was any possibility that behavior could falsely ban someone because of this. So he says virtually it's impossible to get banned for false reasons. However, it has happened in the past for sure. It just requires more than one game where someone takes over your body and controls you for a moment for laugh. Someone would need to put time and dedication for such a task.
Like somebody making content, like targeting streamers.
So yeah, in general, nobody should ever be afraid of such a thing. And then again, even if a cheater were somehow to get you banned falsely, you should weigh the trust and faith you have between you and the company itself. If they read the data correctly and take the right actions, you have nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, it's dependent of the company's actions. So basically, if
Which not
looks at the player's data and sees they
Joy.
have never used any third-party software, then they should realize something else was responsible. Also, the fact that this is happening so often to streamers is not a coincidence. They still have stream sniping software built into their cheats, meaning it's always there and it's always prioritizing playing against streamers by design.
Because that's advertisement. That's what it is. You're advertising essentially to your next customer, which is why streamers get targeted.
Stream sniping software has been upgraded as well to now include
also for nefarious
and like TTV and Twitch to maximize hitting even smaller streamers who have not yet made the stream sniper list. In addition, when a cheater does get paired up with a streamer, they can send a ping to this hacking group's Discord that allows everyone in the Discord to spectate the match. They let me have short temporary access to this Discord to see for myself, and they were hitting about one streamer per hour from what I could see. There wasn't anything toxic being said in the Discord or anything like that while I was there. It seemed pretty lighthearted, to be honest. Some streamers laughed and some got frustrated, but that's about the extent of it from what I saw with my short time in there. While we're on the topic of streamers, I did ask if there were still security flaws that allow bad actors to find the IP addresses of other players. He says that I hope it's patched. I don't have much insight into this subject. Using a VPN certainly would not hurt, like always with the internet. However, if the exploit would be working, it's highly unlikely that anyone wants to target an average Joe. Any general player probably would be safe even without a VPN. So unfortunately, no concrete information there at the moment. Is it still safer for content creators to use it?
All it takes is like one person like not liking something you do in a game. And we've already seen that DVD players are extremely emotional, volatile people. I'll take somebody just like leaving you on hook or something, somebody having a really bad day, and they can do that. Like, just because you can't use, well, most of the hackers I know are chill as a defense. That doesn't really defend it at all.
The VPN? Probably yeah. For everyone else, only if you are very concerned and don't want to take any chances getting DDoSed. There are definitely players that would take advantage of it and DDoS you over your playstyle or any random number of things, so it's always something to consider. Up until recently, at least to me, it did feel like there were less players cheating than before. So I asked if the amount of cheaters has changed since we last spoke. And according to him, the numbers seem relatively consistent from his perspective. There are fluctuations with events or new releases that cause spikes. However, it's challenging to speak for all sellers, but it appears to maintain a similar trend. And for those that don't remember from my previous videos, those trends are things like summer vacation in America or certain holidays, basically the same trends that exist with
maybe
all
they
other...
have gotten more subtle, perhaps, but like, it definitely doesn't feel that way. I'd be interested to see like the actual stats with that, not just their self-reporting of what the stats look like.
Retail products. He also said that the ratio of subtle cheaters to full-blown cheaters hadn't changed much either, and that rage cheating is still more popular among their customer base. That said, one benefit that subtle cheaters have are that they are much more difficult to get banned. When I asked just how long they could go without getting banned, he said hypothetically they could go for years, but in reality there are a lot of factors. Behavior takes a while to check reports, and if their software ever gets detected, even if they stopped using it, they could still get banned. In other words, if a subtle cheater gets banned, it's usually due to their cheating software being detected. For instance, if they use software for 6 months and then stop, if the software or any related elements were detected at any point, they'll face a ban, regardless of whether or not they stopped using the software. The opposing side often lays these traps, opposing side meaning behavior, accumulating more users before initiating the ban. So
I think it's like, I don't know, I don't really feel bad for that. I really don't feel bad for that. Like if you cheated in this game at the expense of other people, especially if you're doing the subtle hacking thing where you're not just like, hee hee, I'm throwing hatchets as Ghostface just to make people laugh. Like you were subtle cheating for an advantage in a party game that's not even that difficult to begin with. Like, yeah, I don't care if you stopped using it for 6 months. Screw you. Get out of here. A small pee-pee behavior. You deserve that.
You might remember a video I made a while back about how behavior had just done a massive ban wave. This is one of the occasions he's referring to here, where behavior will update their anti-cheat on the back end but won't immediately ban anyone. Instead, they'll leave it going as a trap, collecting more and more of those pesky subtle cheaters, and then when it does go live, all of those cheaters will be banned next time they get on the game, regardless of software updates. Behavior will often lay these traps before big events when they know a lot of subtle cheaters will not be able to help themselves and get on the game. Now, if you were around back during the cheating epidemic on DBD, you might recall some really over-the-top cheats.
That was like such a common one. The flashlight from space with no survivors not around. That was such a common one because you could play that one off like, hey, I just didn't see him behind the rock, or maybe it was just like a really bad angle, or maybe I was using Shadowborn. But like, people caught on real quick that was one.
Cheaters were able to hook themselves anywhere at any time. This allowed them to block doorways and make it impossible to hook other survivors. But it seemed like this cheat disappeared, and I can also see that it is no longer available on their website. So I asked why, and he says the force hook feature, a long-standing one, finally got patched out after an extended run. It's part of an ongoing chess game between developers and cheaters. This particular feature should have been patched years ago, so it was only a matter of time in this regard. Fortunately, it's not like we lost something, as you can still take hostages without any problems. These type of minor feature patches are more like a PR patch for behavior, to keep investors happy. Also, while many of the other features have been patched previously, our team almost always finds a way to revive them using various different sophisticated methods. Now, I always found this to be one of the more annoying cheats to deal with personally. It could sometimes be very loud, so PR move or not, at least it's gone for now. I would consider this a W for behavior. What I would not consider a W for behavior is their recent Q&A, where when asked if we'll ever have the ability to see the builds of our teammates, they replied with something along the lines of, "It'll be added in the coming years," which is a bit of a jaw-dropping response, especially when you consider that this is a built-in feature of the cheating software. Cheaters can literally see not only every aspect of their teammates' builds, including perks, items, add-ons, and offerings, but they can even see what platform they are playing on specifically. So it's a...
Aw. So in some ways, cheaters know behavior's game better than they do. That does not inspire joy. That does not inspire faith. That is. It's the X from me, dog. Hey, Stormy, how's it going? Good to see you, friend. Hopefully your 2 essays treating you well.
A bit weird that this feature is years off, considering the information is clearly already there, and only UI changes are needed for it to be visible. I think there's a more interesting and broader discussion about whether or not this feature should be added, but that's a topic for another day. Another thing you might remember from the cheating epidemic is how cheaters made quite literally thousands of free accounts on the Epic Game Store to play DBD during its free week when it launched on the platform. For a long time, this is where most cheaters existed. Now, although these accounts are still around and it's still a difficult platform to get reported on, there's a new king in town for making free DBD accounts: Xbox Game Pass for PC. The hacker group even has a full guide on how to make free accounts using Xbox Game Pass for PC on their website. To that point, I asked if there's any significant difference on how long it takes to get banned depending on what PC platform is being used. According to him, there's no real difference, meaning that cheaters are most likely still going to be on Epic Game Store or Xbox Game Pass for PC.
Somebody told me today, after a match, that globe only means console. If you think that, that's not true. If they're not on Steam, they will also show as a globe to you. That includes this stuff, okay? I can't believe that in the year of our Lord 2024, I have to explain to people who game on PCs in 2024 that that's how that fucking works. But apparently people are just bone dead fucking stupid. Yeah, if you're not on Steam, you're technically on a different platform. So yeah, globe does not always mean console. Just looking out. Apparently that's not common knowledge.
There are, of course, still Steam cheaters, but it's way more easy to report Steam cheaters and also to validate the legitimacy of a profile. Now, moving on, I've showed this in the past, but I was really curious as to how much this cheating software costs because it can be a bit confusing to look at and a lot of numbers get thrown around when people talk about it. But here are the definitive prices as they stand now. 7 days costs €17 or $18.71. 1 month costs
a lot of money.
€36 or about $40.
That's a lot of money just
3
to be
months
stupid.
costs €80 or $88.
That's a lot of money
as
just to be
of
dumb in this
recently,
game.
they no longer charge for their hardware ID spoofer, meaning that cheaters don't have to worry about hardware bans and only getting another account to play DBD on, which they can also do for free by abusing the Microsoft Game Pass for PC method or buying a cheap account online elsewhere. As a result, this is a bit of a perfect storm for cheating, so we expect to see an even larger amount of cheating in the coming months to DBD. I know Behavior watches these videos because they openly admit that they do, so here's the warning that this is coming. Speaking of which, I asked what they believe Behavior's future plans are to combat cheating. He says Behavior likely continues to combat cheating, possibly focusing more on eliminating specific features rather than software detection. Their aim is to prevent anything visible and sweep the rest of the stuff under the rug as usual. I also asked what this hacker group has planned for the future, and he says personally waiting for new game modes. There could be exploit opportunities, especially in a potential 2v8 mode. So it looks like they want to look into utilizing any new features added to repurpose them into new cheats. On a slightly different note, I asked him about the recent MMR changes that Behavior talked about. It's always sad that I have to ask hackers about information that should be publicly available, but according to him, when it comes to the MMR grind itself, it seems to take about 50 escapes or 54 Ks to get from a fresh starting MMR, currently 650, to about 1400 to 1500 MMR, which is the soft cap. However, playing with friends who have higher MMR seems to make the grind a bit faster. Additionally, on the killer side, you already have a killer with high MMR, and play your first games with a killer that has low MMR, you'll increase your MMR a lot faster. Alright, so this seems to confirm both the starting point of MMR as well as the soft cap was lowered pretty significantly since I last asked about this. This is going to be a pretty big contributing factor as to why many teams are getting wiped at 5 gens. There's just a way bigger pool of survivors getting sucked into matches with killers that are expecting way more resistance. Don't forget that the soft cap has a safety net for losing as well. So once a player is above the soft cap, it takes an almost unachievable amount of subsequent losses to ever drop back down below it. Now recently over on Twitter, I asked for questions from you guys, the DBD community, that you would like to have answered about cheating. The first question was, is there a hitbox viewer available to hackers? This is such a useful tool for learning interactions in the game. For how much people in DBD complain about them, I'm surprised a mod for this isn't more widespread. Also, is hitbox manipulation possible? And this is really interesting. He says, we do provide 2D and 3D hitboxes which overlay the real hitbox of the character. However, these are not exactly one-to-one hitboxes, but more generally the area which simulates the position. This can be useful sometimes if you need to evaluate whether you will get a hit or not. However, as the game is a hot mess, the hitboxes are rarely the main problem itself. The problem is more everything else around it, like for example ping related issues. Behavior added server-sided validation for hits, but that was very poorly coded, and they simply check your current distance from the survivor you tried to hit. This basically means that whenever you are close enough to get a hit, you can get a hit, no matter if there's a wall, rock, or 13 dweets in front of you. It's a stupid system and obviously benefits cheaters and legitimate players with bad ping.
I'd say this all the time. I say this all the time. People yell at me about it. I say this all the time. People yell at me about it. Lag doesn't benefit you. Sure does. Sure f***ing does. Been saying this for years and nobody ever f***ing believes me. People give me shit for it. Look. Wow, looks like lag does give you an advantage, huh?
Or VPN. But yeah, technically you could make visible one-to-one hitboxes, but as said above, it probably brings little to no real value as long as the game has a poor netcode. So essentially what he's saying is you can get data about the size of hitboxes, which is useful, but it won't necessarily help in a real game situation because hitboxes aren't very accurate. This is why when there's high ping, it's common to get hit through drop pallets.
Yeah, we know Cardi B, right? Like, hey.
Alright, so the next question is pretty simple. What region seems to have the most cheaters in it? According to him, we've got a lot of customers from the USA, but it's tricky to compare because of separate local markets in Asia and Russia. If I had to guess, I'd say the USA, Europe regions.
The areas with. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry, I'm not
cheaters. So it seems pretty much the same everywhere, but Russian and Chinese cheaters are obviously more likely to buy from Russian and Chinese hacker groups, making it difficult to accurately answer. Okay, so the next question is, why do people use subtle cheats? And he says most likely they just want to win and keep control of the game. Now, this answer makes a lot of sense. If you see how subtle cheats are advertised on their website, the wording is always very specific, like customize your own difficulty, which in an online competitive game isn't possible, but subtle cheaters really do enjoy subjecting real people to their single player syndrome. Nursemains. Sorry. The last question was, how can it be that a hack caused by changing the file cannot be detected by easy anti-cheat? That is, with the unlock all tools or cosmetics. EAC should be able to see that everything was activated at once and then should be able to communicate that to behavior. And he says those type of hacks modify the game request and the response of your owned content store. In this regard, they do not touch the game files themselves. There may obviously be various different methods for unlocking, but for example, behavior could easily patch one method by patching the game's internal memory tool and turning a specific developer setting to true. A bit simplified, but you get the point. So basically, EAC is bypassed, and that's why these players don't get insta-banned.
Yeah,
all right, so there we have a good update on the current cheating situation going into 2024. I hope you got the information you're looking for. If not, there's a good chance I already got an answer in one of my previous cheating videos. I'll have a link to that playlist at the end of this video if you're interested. Also, if you want an additional video where I go through all of the currently available cheats and subtle cheats.
Wow.
Let me know in the comments because there's some pretty interesting stuff going on there. But as always, thanks for watching and have a happy new year.
Oh, didn't mean to click that.
Hey guys, so unfortunately the hacker bots are back.
Shut up. Whoa, get that out of the way. Here, I can just set this as the backdrop. I don't know. I think it's like, I hope it, like, usually it comes and goes in waves, of course, like it always does. I really hope, I will say, that I really hope that, Push Before is not, like, filled with hackers and that sort of thing. I know that's the thing a lot of people are worried about lately. And thankfully, like I said, the in-game report system does work the best it's ever worked. So that's good. That's a plus. It is kind of like disheartening to... It's a very much kind of like a band-aid fix where it's like, yeah, you ban somebody, you can hack. But obviously that it's not even like that's necessarily like, especially with the Game Pass stuff, that's not even necessarily a behavior issue. It's kind of like an exploit with like Game Pass in particular, you know, to get around that, it happens to be DB as the target. So it's not even uniquely just like behavior is not doing the best. Behavior is also not doing the best. Don't get me wrong, but like for them to like have to, because like to probably fix that, they probably have to go through Microsoft to be like, hey, people are doing this using your system, and like who knows how difficult that is. I can't imagine that it is easy in any stretch of the imagination to try and get that fixed, if at all. Yeah, it unfortunately does not surprise me that a lot of people do end up subtle cheating, and I think it's just embarrassing. I think it's extremely embarrassing that like this game's not that difficult. This game's not that hard. And the fact that people like they phrased it really well, they're trying to subject people to their single player experience when you could just put in the time and get there anyway. Like, absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, how lazy and like disrespectful do you have to be as a person just to not just put in the effort? Like, it's just a special kind of person that I just can't get behind. Like, I can never ever understand that. You're paying, we found out their pricing too. They're paying like $40 for this. They're paying like $40 so they can do something that they're capable of doing if they just would stop being so lazy. I don't know. That's crazy. Back to Choy's rank. My video, yeah, it's on the channel. I have a ranked playlist, or not ranked playlist. I have a React playlist that you can check for that, Zed. It's down there. Cheat to feel superior in any game. All guys said cheat in the first 2 weeks. Yeah, you're right, Zombie Joker. You're right. I think, but I just think it's so disappointing in a game like this where it is so easy to get good. It is so easy to get to that point. Love you. I appreciate that, Zed. I work really hard on it. Obviously, we're making it right now, so I appreciate it when you tell me. It's very nice. Giving themselves extra perks. They get a notification in game that they took action. Yeah, and it's really nice that we actually get that now. They tell us that like action was taken and that sort of thing. It is, like I said earlier, disheartening that they just come right back, but a lot of that doesn't seem to be in their control. Well, some of it is. Yeah, the game's not difficult, so I don't know why people... I know why, because like laziness. But like, that's just crazy that this game isn't even that difficult to begin with. And they're, they feel like they need to do that. Like, it's just embarrassing to me. It's really, really embarrassing to me. Like half of this game is literally holding M1 and hitting spacebar on Survivor. Like, half of your match, you're sitting there pressing 2 buttons. How is that hard for you? You spend half of your Survivor match pressing 2 buttons and you can't do that? That's too difficult for you? Like, my brother, what is wrong with you? Like, I would say respectfully, but no, disrespectfully, what is wrong with you? How is that too difficult of a task for you? Legitimately. Yeah, you're right too. It's like, there's no rewards. Nobody cares. You just get blood points. And your MMR number goes up, which you can't even see, but if they're hacking, they can obviously see it, I guess. Like, this game is not difficult. Literally at all. It is so not demanding of you. It's so embarrassing. An ego thing. That's what's confused me. Like what Banet said is like they're not, a lot of them not even streaming. Like who's watching that they're upset about? Who are they trying to impress? Who are they worried will see them sucking? Like the other 3 people that they're never gonna match with again, or you'll match with them in like 4 months. Okay, 4 months is an exaggeration. But like I don't see a lot of the same names roll through my lobbies. Like I'll like once or twice a month I'll be like, oh, I've played against them before. That's it. It's like once or twice a month I run into the same people. Like how are you running into the same people enough that you'd be like, okay, well they're gonna see me again. So I better cheat so they know I'm good. Impress themselves? Yeah, it's I think you're right. I think it's something's missing somewhere important. Something's missing somewhere important. And you have to fill the void with $40 and hacks in a game that's not that difficult. It sometimes boils down to literally 2 buttons. I do remember, by the way, we'll tell this very brief anecdote. We had a Lori once that was speed hacking, subtle hacking, got banned for it. It was Dead Dog main building, and I was not taking any like suboptimal pathing. I was just Wing at them, and it was an infinite. Like they're running Dead Dog main building as an infinite, and I was like, that's weird. That's not an infinite. And they said it was optimal pathing in the end-game chat. But I reported them, they got banned. So they were being mean in the after chat to me, telling me like it was optimal pathing. It's not my fault. You're bad. And they were the one that was bad. They were the one that sucked at the game. They couldn't win and chase. So now I'm probably like 105, 110, running as this character, running as a survivor. So you're not catching up. We're barely catching up. What realistically is probably happening is like probably they go behind the wall and like scoot up, right? Realistically, right? Probably go behind the wall, scoot up a little bit. Yeah, remember that guy? Yeah. You remember them telling me how bad I was? I don't know, man. Like if it's one thing, like it's still sad and pathetic if you're like using $40 cheats to fill a void in yourself. Like that's very pathetic and sad. But on top of it, like that Lori player that was telling me like you're so bad and like it's not my fault you don't understand how to path correctly. I have optimal pathing. Like making me feel like about myself while they were cheating the whole time. Like that's another level. That's messed up. I get that like Choy is probably like, you know, trying to be kind to these people because like, you know, like that's how you get like on the inside. That's how you like you're able to talk to them and like learn all this stuff that's like really important, really educational that we should definitely be paying attention to as, you know, frequent viewers or players of the game. But like there's something like deeply not okay with this stuff. You know, like I said, if you're using the cheats to be like, oh, I'm a ghost face throwing hatchets out of my chest, like that's funny, right? That's hilarious. Like that's goofy. Like if I get one of those, I'm like, whoa, and then I'm like laughing. That's whatever, right? But like the people who subtle cheat or like rage cheat as like a response to losing, I feel like there's like something like deeply psychologically wrong going on there. Like there's something messed up that needs attention that should not be left to linger, but it does. Like there's something that needs help about if that's where you go with that. I don't know. Maybe it's a little sentimental of me, but like it makes me more worried than anything. It makes me more worried than anything. But like this is what you've stooped to. This is the like that's not cheap. Like $40 is a nice dinner, right? Hash browns, coffee, good dinner. Well, I've been ordering.
$40 is...
Yeah, we could go get a good meal or something. Somewhere nice, slightly nice. Yeah, it's like You spend that on loved ones. You could spend that on like a gift for said loved ones. Good. Like I had to buy a funny story. One of my surge protectors came off on the wall today. That was fun. That was right before stream. And I had to go buy a new one. And I bought a nice one, and it was like $30-something. Like, these people are spending $40 so they can cheat in a video game because they don't feel good about themselves. Like, how is that not like the specifically talking about the subtle hackers? Like $40 to feel good about yourself in a video game that's already easy? Like, there's got to be something not right that's going on that you need help with. But that's where you go with that. It almost makes me wish there was like something more that could be done about that than anything, you know? Maybe that's like too big of an ask, right? Too big of an ask. I don't know what that would even look like. It's very intangible. And obviously there's cheaters in everything. This is like an epidemic among gaming and gamers in general. That's very big, right? A very big ask. But yeah, I've never been to Red Lobster. No. That'd be another good. That'd be nice. But yeah, it's a very big probably a very big ask, but like, I wish that these people did not need to cheat or pay $40 for cheats to feel good about themselves. Or like with that Lori, you know, they need to pay $40 for cheats to condescend and bully people to feel good about themselves. Like, there's something up there that's not good. Like that, I wish there was some way we could find an alternative, get them out of that. I feel like it's like, maybe it's too big brain, too like, not big brain, but like too existential. But I feel like there's just a greater problem that is concerning. That is like the worry, like why people even get into that zone and what leads them to that zone. That's like, oh, infomercial. Why would you just do that? We can get more over match reviews. Yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you get better. I'm always down to help people get better. Like, they just try to cheat. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I guess it is only legal recourse. I don't know. I just kind of got, I guess on the little emotional side of things where I'm like, these people aren't okay. You know, I'm like, these people are not okay if this is what they're going to as their go-to to feel better about themselves. And that, I don't know, that just worries me. Maybe it's just, yeah, like I said, maybe it's just the sentimental side of me, but I'm like, it makes me deeply uncomfortable that there's that many people who are not well and they're just like kind of like shoving it down with cheats in a very low stakes video game. Like, that is concerning, very, very concerning.